Greeting YouTube. Today we're taking a look at Gearheads, The Turbulent Rise of Robotic Sports by Brad Stone. And then you have a robot on the cover of the book right there. Here we go. This is the story of the evolution of robotic sports as it became known to the world. When we think of robotic sports, actual competitions between robots for the purposes of winning a prize, all of it came into life because of an artist named Mark Thorpe. Now, Thorpe did art for a long time, and he eventually decided that the idea of having robots go head-to-head would be something that will not only be an extension of his past as an artist, but could also help him establish himself as a business and help him get an income for himself and for his family, because he had just been diagnosed with a disease that I don't remember. It might have been cerebral palsy. There's something that is progressive. Now, he had a history in model making, practical effects and things like that. And so just like, Jamie Heineman and Adam Savage, he came out of that same school of craftsmanship. And while he had the idea, he had the skill to kind of launch it, he didn't have the business acumen, and nor did he have the money. And unfortunately, he tied himself to a guy who, and his name sounds like I'm making it up. His name is Plotnicki. Yes, the first four letters of the guy's name are the word plot. And he was and is a cutthroat New York businessman, a man that was the first to back hip-hop groups and then raked those groups over the coals forever, trying to get every single penny he could out of them and preventing them from breaking their contract and signing up with a better and more lucrative record producing company. And Mark Thorpe didn't understand who he was dealing with, and he decided to sign a contract with the guy that split the business evenly 50-50. Now, if Mark had been smart, he would have said, no, you can have 45, I'm getting 55, and then nothing which is about to happen would have happened. But he didn't do that. And the legal entanglements that got him into were long and drawn out and went on for like a decade, and did nothing to help his health, did not make him a fortune, and it destroyed his marriage. However, he did inspire the whole concept of robotic combat, and he founded Robot Wars, which was the first kind of a commercial take on robot competitions. Now, it was all gearheads, it was all garage folks in the beginning, but as the things went on, people started getting more technically advanced groups involved. People had longer traditions of engineering. They got sponsorship showed up, and these were the things that a lot of folks didn't want to see in the hobby, because they saw it very much it should just be the amateurs going against each other. But eventually, money started getting involved, and Robot Wars, because of the relationship between Thorpe and Plotnicki, did not flourish the way either of them wanted it to. But that did birth BattleBots, which also birthed Robotica, which helped inspire FIRST. So there's an entire sphere of robotic competitions, all thanks to Thorpe. Now, if it hadn't been Thorpe, it would have been somebody else. All of the elements that came into being for robotic competitions existed at that time. And if Thorpe hadn't been the one that put them in the bowl, mix it up right, and present it to the world, someone else would have. I'm not a big believer in the special guy, the unique individual that is the only person that could have brought something into the world. No. If all of the elements of something exist, someone else will figure it out, maybe just not as quickly. And that's the depressing part of this book, which is reading where Thorpe made his mistakes and all the legal wranglings that happened because of it. And it is interspersed throughout the book, and I just found it difficult to read, because I'm reading this, I'm like, oh, this sucks. the idea that you're being taken advantage of, the idea of that thing, the thing you love is being taken away from you because you got yourself into a bad business deal. It's just painful to read for me. But there's a lot of detail. It covers the entire case. So if you find that interesting, here you go. I love the whole idea of all these gearheads, and they got into the lives of the early makers, including Jamie Heineman and his famous robot Blendo, who was so powerful that after the first 2 bouts at the first competition was asked to no longer engage because he was going to kill someone. And the second year they had their event, after 2 bouts with Blendo, he was asked to no longer put him in competition because it was so powerful he was going to kill people. Yeah, Blendo was the legendary monster of the early robot competitions. It really was dangerous. It was a spinner, had a dome, and I believe he made it out of an industrial scale walk with a metal edge, and it spun at 500 RPMs, and you didn't have a lot of whole steering thing, didn't do well, but as soon as you came in contact with an enemy, it literally blew parts of the enemy off. You can find clips of it on YouTube. Just brutal amounts of energy, and it was just chucking pieces of armor and bits all over the place. They kept increasing the degree of safety features because of Blendo, making Plexan shields taller and thicker in the hopes that it put nets on the tops in the hopes of catching the bits and pieces that were being chucked off the robots because of Blendo and other spinners that did enter competitions. So that aspect of the book, super cool. Really enjoyed it. The legal stuff was painful for me to read. It was not a lot of fun. But the technical stuff and the history of the makers and how robots evolved over time, and how the different types of competitions took a different, narrative structure. Some were just direct head-to-heads, and you got ones that were more skill-based, and you had obstacles you had to get through. At the end, the 2 robots that did the best in all those, they got to come head-to-head. The introduction of housebots, the idea that there were, in-arena threats to the bots, which were both passive in the sense that they were like along the ring, or they were saw blades in the floor or something, and then there were active ones, which are the housebots, which could come out and finish off a robot and things like that. It's just really cool, and they're talking about the different names of the robots, and I'm smiling because I recognize the names. I've watched quite a few of these things, not recently because I don't have access to the channels that carry them, but yeah, super cool. I really enjoyed Gearheads, even if the stuff about the legal battles was painful to read. The rest of it was a lovely stroll down the entire history of robotic competition. So that's the kind of thing that you're into. Well, here you go. That was kind of entertaining. One thing that did make me smile is that a judge told Thorpe, he says, "You don't make a deal with the devil and expect you get to keep your soul." That judge was poetic.